introduced to ants.
You've just been introduced to ants.
Well, I mean, obviously as a kid.
Which kind of ants?
They're black ants. I don't know. Like, if they're not red, they're not fire ants, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I got bit by fire ants one time as a kid.
Yeah, how was it?
Not ideal. Not ideal.
I've never been bitten by a fire ant.
What's the most painful insect bite you guys have endured?
I don't actually have any. The one time I was mowing and I got stung. I think that was the closest.
Yeah, I just got stung by a bee coming out of a pool when I was a kid.
Did my wife? So we went to the pumpkin patch one year. This is like 2 or 3 years ago, and she had an energy drink whenever we went to the pumpkin patch. I think I've told you this. And there was, we're leaving and we open the doors. We got a minivan. We open both doors, whatever it is, and we see a bee fly in, and we just close the doors. We don't think about it. We're just like, fuck it, we'll deal with that later. And we come back. We're leaving the pumpkin patch. It's like 6 hours later. We're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Nicole reaches down and takes a drink of her energy drink and drinks it real quick. Fucking bee goes right into her mouth with it and stings her on the inside of the mouth.
It was alive still?
It was alive, floating around in there. And she like stops and like has to reach and like pull it out of her mouth. And I'm like,
so unlucky.
That's got to be one of the most painful stories, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was she acting like it hurt? Like, was she?
Oh yeah, she's got a good pain tolerance, but it hurt. She wasn't crying or anything.
I mean, the woman's given birth to 3 kids. I would assume her pain tolerance
with painkillers.
Yeah, that's true. When my wife was giving birth, she was like, or like beforehand, she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a natural birth. I don't want the epidural and whatnot."
Yeah, right.
And then I made the decision to give her the epidural at that point. I like turned to the doctor and said, "Give her the epidural."
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, she started asking for it. I was like, "It's already on the way. I already got it on the way." So,
and if you wait too long, you can't have it.
Exactly. That's why I was like, "Nope." I'm thinking of a practical mind that's not full of hormones right now. So,
Once they hit there's no turning back. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, I don't know the medical
could just freak out.
They just have a baby like everyone else in history, I suppose.
Yeah, I wonder when the epidural is
bad news.
Yeah.
Hold on. When was the first epidural?
It's like getting kicked in the nuts. I hear. Childbirth.
Probably.
Yeah, same pain amount as being kicked in the nuts.
My
brother Ryan, shout out Ryan. Whenever I was a kid, I was on the ground one time and I was like stretching. And I was like, sticking my body up in the air, stretching, arching my back. And he took the blunt end of a pool stick and just shoved it right in my nuts as hard as he could. Yeah, and I was on the ground for a while. Yeah, but joke's on him. I've got 3 kids. So.
Well, welcome.
I succeeded.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, nutters. Welcome. Welcome, nutters, to the Nut Club.
Poor Jerry.
That's why this is called the Nut Club. It's an homage to Ryan and all the times he hit me in the nuts.
You did have to stay on guard at the Ragsdale house.
That's true. You still have to stay on guard, I think.
I mean, yeah.
I actually grew up and I just invented my own children to punch me in the nuts, and it happens. So now I have to be on guard at my own house too.
I mean, I'm still terrified. When someone offers to give me a high five, I'm still leery.
Yeah. Sometimes my kids will move and I'll flinch or something. Why'd you flinch? Did I scare you?
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, yeah, just because you hit me in the nuts all the time. So welcome to the Nut Club, guys.
We had this war my 8th grade year, the Great Nut War. It was every male in the 8th grade in my school was involved.
Yeah.
Nobody was safe. And the trick was you just always had to wear a hoodie with pockets in the front.
Yeah.
So you could just be guarding in the front and just kind of walking in the hallway.
That's fair.
Because otherwise you just get lit up. And then, I mean, I would get hit by people that I didn't even know, never even talked to or met. And it's fair game because I did it right back to the rest of them. And none of us ever got in trouble or anything. Wow. It was just like a mutually agreed upon duel that the entire class had.
Wow.
So yeah, welcome to the Nut Club.
Welcome to the Nut Club.
If you can't tell, I feel fantastic today.
He's got a little bit of a cold going on.
Yeah. So
next week, I'm sure John and I will sound the same. Thanks, Brock.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, you guys needed me, so
that's right.
Awesome. So
awesome.
Great. Sweet. Hey, you're just getting out of the year. Who needs a flu shot when you got a coworker like me?
That's right. I'll get the flu from you and your child at daycare soon enough.
It's not bad. I was about to say.
I took my kids out of school and I'm like, man, I'm never getting sick again. And then
surprise, motherfucker.
Here we are. Brock sticks his kid in daycare and we're going to be sick every week.
One daycare child is all you need in the ring.
That's true.
And it's pretty much gets like 10 people sick.
I know.
When kids just come up to your face and they just go right in your face, right in your eyes. So you're out.
Did you guys ever have you, Jared, did you ever have an issue like eating after your kids?
Oh, they're disgusting.
Yeah, I never eat after my kids. Like, there's no way. Like, my wife
No,
will
they
like
get slobbery and gross.
Yeah.
And, like they drink after you. Your drink will have like particles of food in it from just floating around. You just know that they're going to backwash.
Yeah, that's why I don't let
disgusting.
that's why I don't let him like my wife does, and I find it disgusting. Like, I'll get him his own drink, his own everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes me a bad dad or what, but
just learning boundaries. It's all right.
Yeah. So we have a very interesting episode today.
Heck yeah.
The first topic came about to me as I was driving down the road and saw a word I did not know or obviously I didn't know. I didn't know the definition to it, like never heard of it.
You had to look it up, guys.
I had to look it up. And the word was osteopathic. And the context it was used was the School of Osteopathic Medicine.
Okay.
So
what's it mean?
Osteopathic medicine. So basically what osteopathic medicine is instead of going and treating each symptom, you treat the entire body.
Okay.
So you maintain balances within, certain levels within your body.
Yeah. Like holistic medicine.
Yeah.
All of this, right?
These are the DOs. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
the DO, and people don't think they're real doctors, right? The DOs.
I was just about to say, it's like there's like a hierarchy of like what MDs consider not real doctors.
Yeah.
DOs are right on top.
They're on the top of
I think
not
they're
doctors.
ahead of chiropractors.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, are they better for a doctor? Like, does a doctor look at a DO as a better doctor than a chiropractor?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more.
Like, it's a medicine, it's medicine.
Well, yeah, I'm just picking on chiropractors, but yeah, there's definitely like actual medicine.
No, I mean, there's definitely some hatred between all of the doctors out there.
Well,
who's a real doctor?
If you Google who is more prestigious, a DO or an MD, it says right here on Google, in the United States, an MD degree is typically more well respected than a DO degree.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that actually kind of might boil down to the topic of our conversation today, which is the issue in Western medicine today.
Okay.
Where we have gotten so focused on treating symptoms and medicating for profit that we have gone away from the holistic approach of health overall. That we think that if we just focus on the micro, it's going to help the macro. And that's not how that works. It seems not to be.
There's definitely not an emphasis on preventative medicine as much. It's a classic, like treat the symptom and not the cure or like the problem. I think that's a pretty common thing.
I think it's a lot of things. Whenever you boil it down, there's money. Obviously, money's a big one. Pharmaceuticals, the amount of pharmaceuticals you can sell, or some sort of solution to a symptom is going to be the main thing, right? You come in, there's one symptom, they look it up. Here's your medicine that you take.
Right.
It's a win-win for everybody. And I think the other one though is time, because there's plenty of other doctors that are good doctors. I'd say my doctor's a good doctor, and he's not a pharmaceutical pusher necessarily for the most part. Pretty reasonable. But you have the experience as well as anybody else does that, first you go to the doctor, you pay him a $50 freaking copay. Then you go sit in the first waiting room, waiting for your name to be called so you can go back to the second waiting room, where it could be, 30 minutes in the first waiting room, 30 minutes in the second waiting room. And then the doctor comes in and you get like, hey, how you doing? Hi, hello. Okay, what's the problem? All right. And they're out of there in 5 minutes.
Right.
And so, I think a big part of it's time too, which probably has to do with how much money they have to make, how many patients they have to have, because I know it's expensive with all of the insurance they have and things like that.
Sure.
And of course they want to be rich. So, they're doctors. So they're going to have a lot of patients. And so I think it's how many patients can you handle, which could be a money kind of thing. Money is always a major incentive. But, I think it's time and, the source of their education. The people that are coming and talking to a doctor these days is pharmaceutical reps. A doctor himself, even though he's busy, would have to then continue self-education in new areas or go find education in areas. And I think there's probably just too much to keep up with. And most of the time you go to the doctor, you need a quick solution. It's not hey, you need to change your diet. You need to get 8 hours of sleep. You need to drink some more water, go out and get some sunlight, go get some fresh air, blah, blah, blah. That's a slow and steady solution.
Right.
It's the true solution.
Those are the hard solutions.
Yeah, it's a hard one because people want to take a pill. It's just like fitness. Somebody comes to me and they say, all right, what do I need to lose weight, Jared? What do I need to lose weight?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, first, you stop eating like a fat ass and start exercising, move more, eat less.
Oh, yeah.
No. What do I take? Okay,
No, I know. That's
well,
the first thing I always get asked. Like,
here's the magic pill.
right. What do you do
Thermogenic
for a living? I work
flux.
for a supplement company. Like,
Thermoflux AF.
I need something to help me
Our new
lose weight.
multivitamin.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's no fat loss there. But that's the case. And so
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Now, I do think there's a swing that's coming in. And I think the old China virus is a big cause of that swing. That people saw what happened with the China virus.
Yeah.
They saw all the people that were saying, you should get healthy, you should eat better. Oh, wait, they didn't say that. Nobody said you should eat better, you should be healthy, you should exercise. They said stay home
For sure.
and order fast food and have it
Right.
delivered to you through DoorDash. That was really kind of what they told us, where it turns out
support local restaurants.
Yeah, support local restaurants, not the regular businesses, not the supplement store they shut down or anything like that. Just go to your restaurants. Those are the keys of the end of your local community, the pillars of society. Your local restaurant is what
Sometimes.
you need, right?
Yeah.
But so, they told everybody to stay home when we figured out that vitamin D was huge. We figured out that exercise itself was huge. And I mean, lung health was a massive one that you should have been working on. Cardiovascular exercise was huge. Yeah. Your insulin resistance is also a huge indicator. We saw that people with many comorbidities were more likely to die. And nobody addressed any of that stuff. Nobody came out, and the government wasn't over here saying, you guys, really, it's the time to lose weight. Here's how you lose weight. Here's how you get in shape. Because a lot of those comorbidities could have gone down. A lot of people's insulin resistance could have gotten better. They could have easily gotten vitamin D. They could have easily exercised. They could have easily started changing their diets. And it would have changed the situation for people that maybe were on the brink of, passing away. Something like that.
Think about how much. Sorry.
Are you there?
Yeah, I know.
I can't hear you.
Think about how much of a missed opportunity COVID was.
Yeah.
For public health in itself.
It could have been a whole incentive to go get in shape.
Oh yeah.
It could have been it could have been an Arnold Schwarzenegger, presidential backed, statement. Guys, it's time to get in the gym. It's time to work out, go outside. It's time to eat healthy.
Stop being
this is
the
a time for
stereotype.
America. Yeah. This is a time for America to rise up in our health. And, everybody's going to do it. And it will. Fix the problem for almost everybody. If that's, granted, I want to say that would have stopped you from getting COVID. That just makes you more, COVID resilient is really it. The people that
100%.
died were the people that were not very COVID resilient.
Yeah. I mean, people had the most time, the most free time that they've ever had in their life.
Yeah, for sure.
They probably will ever have again.
Yeah, we watched Tiger King and stuff like that.
Yeah, they could have been riding
bitch Carol Baskin.
Could have been riding bikes, going to the park, doing things that was good for public health, creating habits and standards that move on past these years. But that's not it.
Yeah,
we decided that we wanted to hunker down inside and shove our face full of processed foods.
Yeah, really doing the opposite of what you should have done.
Yep.
I mean, whatever.
Completely.
I don't always forget the name. Was it like de Blasio, that New York mayor? It's like one of the cringiest videos you'll ever see.
Yeah, what
about
was
like
it?
go get a free burger with your vaccination.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it like?
Yeah, they pushed the shot so that you would go eat fast food or something.
Yeah, you
I'm
literally
like,
get
again,
burger
just
and
the
fries
opposite.
for it. It's just like like you're saying, like literally the worst thing you could possibly do.
So the osteopathic method of health or whatever it is, I'm sure is good, but like anything else, it depends on the doctor. It depends on who you're working with. There's a lot of people that suck at what they do, and they still have a title, and so that's the biggest part to me. But I like the idea. I don't know if I would go to a DO myself, or maybe that's just something I would take care of myself. I don't know what they do.
I think it's
what's different.
I was about to say, I think we're all pretty ignorant about the topic. To be totally fair, I think one way it's utilized, I know, is for a second opinion.
Yeah.
If you do go to a medical doctor initially, you can, if you want to, go see a DO for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we'll have a slightly different, viewpoint or approach probably to the solution of your problem.
Mm-hmm.
It also depends on what it is too. Obviously, there's some very specific diseases where you're probably going to be wanting to see a medical doctor.
Yeah.
There's other things, like slight ailments, like sprains, other things like that. I'm not saying less important things, but smaller issues in some way. Probably a DO is probably a good option to at least see first before, even before a surgery. I know that's a popular thing too.
Have you ever been to a DO?
I have. My mom actually used to see one.
Okay.
But
is it different? Like in the way that they check things out and stuff? Like they still
no
blood pressure, listen to your heartbeat.
That's what I mean is that I didn't know it was a DO when I was in the office. I went and got a physical.
Yeah.
It was in middle school for something. There's a classic. Just anyone can check you off for it.
Yeah.
But no, everything was the same.
Interesting. Yeah.
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 Dan Legris is a DO.
Is he really?
Yeah, one of our friends, buddies.
Dan Legris is? I thought he was like a hand surgeon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think he is now.
Okay.
That
started as DO
his...
and then went to surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this works, guys. So Bear with me. If you're in the medical profession, just forgive us for being idiots.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I mean, the popularity of deos has increased by 89% in the past 10 years, from 2010 to 2022.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously, there's been something kind of cooking up, I guess, and for this to be rising for that long of a time, and I guess the events that's transpired these past few years with COVID and everything has really brought it out of the woodwork and showed us and kind of made it more prevalent than we were previously aware of.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's good just a response to the, no matter what, Western medicine is going to be the big bad wolf, even, if it's given a lot of good things. I think it's kind of the rise against that too. A lot of kids are probably growing up saying I might not want to be a medical doctor. That's like right next door.
That Gary Bressick guy,
Brecka,
or Gary Brecka. He was on Joe Rogan. I think one of the last episodes he released.
Oh, really?
And it was. Sorry, there was something going on in here. So my mic was messing up. So it was giving me a noise. So I was trying to fix that.
Just ignore that, everyone.
Yeah, just ignore it. So he was on Joe Rogan and he was talking about that he looks at people like a tree. So when somebody's sick or they have a brown leaf or anything like that, like a plant, he checks the soil and not the tree itself, right? So what are you eating? What are you putting into your body? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these issues come from the inability to take a raw material and break it down to a material that our body uses. Yeah. Because kind of what he explained was that our body nothing that we put in our body is absorbed that way. So there has to be some type of conversions, like there is from raw oil to refined gas. Yeah. And whatnot. Yeah. So it was
the process of methylation.
Yeah, methylation. Right. Yep. So
you take something like a vitamin and you're turning it into a usable form. Yeah. So as it is, it needs to go through levels of digestion and change and methylation ultimately. And that's, I think, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that. I think there's probably some great, solutions to our health problems that are out there that are buried underneath hard work and buried underneath a lack of money and buried underneath boring things that nobody wants to do. And I think that's, part of the American dream. We have a very consumeristic society, very go, very, I want the solution now. And I think it's more of a symptom of the society more than anything else. And if people didn't want it, they wouldn't go do it. They wouldn't pay for it.
Sure.
And I think what's starting to happen now is we had a look that the way we've been doing things is the best way to do it. No question. And I think we're actually starting to question that. While yes, maybe the way we do economics and the way we are doing stuff now has been the best so far. Sure. We're really starting to see the cracks in the
there's
nations and whatnot.
There's no perfect, there's no perfect system or anything like that. I mean, the things that encourage capitalism and consumerism have their downfalls and things like that. It's just the best way we figured out to do it so far.
Same thing with healthcare, to be fair. Yeah. There's all sorts of, you got the $22 for an aspirin sometimes. That is really annoying. But you do have sometimes you can go see a specialist the next day. That's also a very real part of privatized healthcare. And no one wants to talk about that second one, it seems, very often.
Yeah.
But you do have to pay for it. So you kind of get what you get in that department. But there's holes in either system, to be honest.
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of osteopathic medicine,
riveting. It was riveting.
It was riveting. I think we should use this opportunity to talk about our new multivitamin.
Oh yeah, the whole food multivitamin. Look at this. It's right here. Look at this baby. The whole food multivitamin and mineral. It's a brand that this launched today. You guys, it's going to be a week before this episode's out, but this launched today. The whole food multivitamin. I mean, really, whenever I came down to formulating the whole food multivitamin, it was really, how do I make a badass multivitamin that I want to take every day?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I won't take a multivitamin. If I don't notice a difference, if it doesn't have something it's offering to me, if it's just a multivitamin, multimineral, most of the time I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
So with this one, I wanted it to be things that would support me in other ways that I find worthwhile to take every day. So one of those is that my eye doctor, is really particular on macular health and on how blue light can affect macular health. And it stresses it more. And I work on a computer all day. And then I look at my phone for 4 hours a day. Then I go play a video game or I watch TV or something like that. So I included lutein and zeaxanthin in there that protects against the blue light, or at least helps your body deal with it a little bit better and have a more, a healthier macula that's supported. And then beyond that, I used higher quality minerals, the Albion minerals. These help with increased absorption of all the minerals. So your zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, things like that. So you get a much higher absorption rate from those minerals, just like we used higher quality vitamins in there. But those are all trademarked, patented ingredients. So really high quality. Then we did whole food. The whole food blend is really interesting because, a multivitamin, the problem with the multivitamin is you can only have so many pills. Like nobody wants to take an 8-pill freaking multivitamin every day. So like you can make the best multivitamin in the world, but nobody wants to take it because it's too expensive or it's too many pills.
Yeah, it's like 8 pills to get like 100% of all those things.
Yeah. So how do you make the best multivitamin in 3 pills? That was really what I was going for. An easy way that people could use it. People will take 3 pills a day. They're not going to take 8 pills a day. Maybe the super hardcore people, but I'm not, I'm not the guru for the super hardcore people out there. Go find somebody else. Yeah. So this is kind of like your best bang for your buck. And so I wanted a whole food ingredient, but the problem is whole foods don't fit into pills very easily. So there's one that's actually really cool. And they have studies on this one that show just 100 milligrams, which is easy to fit into this for the whole food blend called Spectra, actually helps fight free radicals. There's 5 major types of free radicals that can affect your body. And so this actually increases the antioxidant response to those free radicals and boosts your immune system, helps your body fight those free radicals, that kind of thing. And then lastly, there's an ingredient called bioperin, which is a black pepper extract that's in here. And the black pepper extract actually increases the absorption of most of these other ingredients that are in here. Some vitamins and minerals and things like that all get an increased boost from bioperin. So overall, it's a really thorough kind of product. Boost your immune system, support your eyes, help you feel better, get rid of the deficiencies that you have, vitamins and minerals, things like that. Blue light being a really important one for me that, I'm not going to take every day.
Well,
I'm not going to think about it.
Screen time alone, like for every single person on the world is up
for sure.
these days.
Oh yeah. I don't even want to know some of these crazy people that are on their phones all day, what their screen time reports come back as.
Oh yeah.
Mine are still, 3 or 4 hours and I'm working on a computer all day. So
I haven't gotten that notification very recently, but I did get one time where it was just like, you've used the allotted amount. Like, I was like on Instagram, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I need to put my
I set up some Instagram things to tell me when I've been on Instagram too much. I just ignore it every single time. Oh, it's time to get off Instagram. I'm like, fuck off.
I always get those like weekly updates on Sundays.
Yeah.
And it like says, oh, you've gone up by 20% or gone down by 30%. So my wife and I always try to challenge each other to like keep it down, like keep going down and whatnot. So
yeah. I try to pay attention to mine at least so it doesn't go up.
Yeah. See, it's weird because I do a lot of my work off my phone, like interacting with people on social media and posting and all that.
Yeah.
And so it's like I can't really distinguish which is work and which is playing around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that does make it hard. It's all connected these days.
It's really hard. I used to try to just literally kind of lock my phone away on the weekend sometimes. Then every once in a while I'd miss like something I literally needed.
Yeah.
It's like
what do you guys do with your phones during like holiday dinners, like for like Thanksgiving coming up? Do you do anything special to?
No, I just put it in my pocket.
I lock it away, man. Honestly, like unless I know something's going on, I really would rather just be present with people and talk.
Dude, this is like my favorite season for food.
This is the best season.
This is the best season.
This is not the best.
The giving of thanks.
You guys are wrong.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's not the best season? Like, is there another season of food? Because I can't name one.
The 4th of July beats this one. 4th of July beats the shit out of Thanksgiving food. Just
what?
Burgers and hot dogs and like ice cream, popsicle. Like it's way better. Watermelon. Give me that stuff.
You just ranked pie so high last week.
Pie is delicious, but there's a lot of varieties of pie. But it seems like on Thanksgiving, we really only like pumpkin or pecan pie. There's really not a whole lot. There's not a lot of cherry pies or apple pies or blueberry pies or coconut cream pies or French silk pie or I could keep going.
It's a lot of pie knowledge.
Pie's great. I got a comment from somebody that listened, Angie, one of my old clients. She said that she listened to us talk about cakes for 4 minutes before she went home and cooked herself a healthy dinner. Congrats, Angie. That's the way to do it. You can talk about them. Everybody loves good cake. But the discipline is knowing what to eat.
You feel like Thanksgiving's overrated though. You
Thanksgiving
don't think
food is overrated.
Like not like good though.
No, it's fine. Like it's okay, but it's not like. So the best way I would say, because Thanksgiving food, my opinion is Thanksgiving food is overrated, like vastly overrated. People always talk about, oh, I can't wait for Thanksgiving. It's so good. I can't wait to stuff my face and get this, just fall asleep and like have to unbutton my pants. And every time I eat Thanksgiving food, I'm just like, what are you guys eating? Like, this food is not gorge worthy food. This is not binge worthy food. This is just like, it's okay. Like, there's a big variety. So maybe I have to eat a lot because there's so many different things to try. But I'm not eating anything that I'm just like, damn, I need to just stuff my fucking face with this right now.
I'll give you
so
a
that I
very
can
quick
gorge.
rundown of
Sure.
the
Let's do
Jonathan Lipple Thanksgiving thing. We got a lot of potatoes, a lot of turkey.
Yeah, they're okay.
White turkey if we can.
Yeah, it's okay.
It doesn't have to be dry. That's on how you prepare it.
Yeah.
That's on your.
But the best turkey is still just meat. Like,
for sure.
It's okay.
We got
It's
some
good.
cranberry sauce. Maybe
that makes it better though.
Maybe some sweet potato pie.
Sweet potatoes are good. I like sweet
and
potato
probably
casserole.
A roll,
or something.
man.
Rolls are great.
What about the green bean casserole?
Like, so what do
You're not here for the green bean. I'll literally make the green bean casserole every year.
You're stating that Thanksgiving is the best out there for holiday eating, at least, right?
Well,
would you make that?
Think so. Yeah.
And all you're saying is turkey, rolls, sweet potatoes, and potatoes, right?
And the infamous pie.
And pie. That's really not that.
Listen, I'll kind of agree with you. The bar's kind of low.
The bar's low.
Meals.
Holiday eats are not that good. Give me a pizza. Like the best argument I can give you for Thanksgiving food, and that it's not as good as everyone says, is that there are very few, if any, Thanksgiving-based restaurants.
Well, that's for certain.
Are you going to go buy Thanksgiving food this weekend at a restaurant?
Yeah, I would if it was an option.
To be fair, though,
why is it not an option?
Because they don't listen to the people. That's why.
Though totally, supply and demand never works.
It's
definitely not a demand issue.
I just don't think anybody's ever thought of it.
It's a supply. Then
part
you'd be
of the
rich.
problem with it, to me, though, is the fact that Thanksgiving it's like the only holiday with a specific meal associated with it.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's
That's fair.
It's like not like overrated, but like it's rating against nothing.
Yeah, but like this whole thing is based off of eating, and the food just isn't that good.
It's based off, giving thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some gratitude.
Thank you for the food. Now let's be gluttons.
I don't know, man. I feel like too many Native Americans died for you not to be thankful over this holiday.
I can be thankful that I'm only have to eat this food once a year.
I was just about to say
only once a year.
There's every once in a while there's a Scrooge.
And listen, I've had all sorts of Thanksgiving foods. Of course, I've had my mom's growing up, but I've had her families that cooks as well. They're from Oklahoma. They love to make deliciously terrible meals for you. And I've had Cracker Barrels, and I've had my wife's families, and I just think that Thanksgiving food is just the best of the best is not that good.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I love it. And I'll freely admit what I love about Thanksgiving as much as the food, though, is like time off work.
Well, yeah, that's different.
Football. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm admitting like
that's what I love about Veterans Day.
Overrate the food a little bit.
This guy. You're working Veterans Day.
We are working hard.
Spoiler alert! Today's Veterans Day, and here I am at work.
Shout out to the veterans.
Is today Veterans Day?
Happy Veterans
tomorrow.
Day.
It's observed.
Is it tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, it's observed today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like
so it's the day before the weekend. I figured it'd be the day after the weekend.
Oh, I have a feeling the military is going to get both.
They probably get both. Government loves them.
They probably deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think about all the stovetop stuffing I buy a year, and I think I'd probably buy like 3 boxes a month of stovetop stuffing.
It's tough, but once it what do you eat on like Christmas, for example? Like if you're gonna say overrated, underrated,
it's almost the same. It's almost the same.
Then see, yeah,
but like Christmas though, we change it. So like if I were having a Christmas dinner or lunch, it would be pretty much the same foods. Maybe ham instead of turkey. But usually it's like ham and turkey at Thanksgiving. So we already have ham. But most of the foods are similar. But the difference is we do breakfast on Christmas. And so we get bacon and eggs and sausage and cinnamon rolls and
all
Danishes.
That on Thanksgiving, I feel like.
Yeah, then I just wouldn't want to eat anything else. Like that's
the only thing.
Once you gorge yourself in the morning on Christmas, you're not hungry till dinner.
I'm kind of with you, but I'm going down a different path here. I'm actually really only getting at the only thing differentiating almost every meal other than Thanksgiving is the turkey.
Yeah.
The
rest of them aren't that good either, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like some sweet potato casserole or something. It's not bad.
It's pretty solid, my friend.
Yeah, I can eat some sweet potato casserole. Obviously, the pie is great.
I like the canned cranberry sauce.
Yeah, the cranberry. I didn't even use the cranberry sauce until a couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember like my sister was like, "You could go buy that right now." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want it."
Exactly. Just proving my point here. It's available all year round, Brock.
Yeah.
Nobody wants canned cranberry sauce
I don't even
until
eat-
Thanksgiving.
I
There's a
don't-
reason for it.
I don't even eat canned cranberry sauce.
It's just
on
it's just
Thanksgiving.
it just goes into the entire
If
argument.
Okay,
I'm-
hold on. That's
I'm
another good point.
brainwashed into the canned
That's another good point.
cranberries.
Okay, so there has to be at least one or two like popular Thanksgiving items that you're just like, what the fuck? Like, why do people like this? Because for me, that's
People
canned cranberry
Okay.
sauce.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I could see why the sweet potatoes would be appealing. I'm just not a sweet potato guy.
Sure.
Like,
That's fair.
like that one looks and smells good. I wish I was because with the marshmallows and the brown
yeah.
sugar and cinnamon.
Yeah,
like
that's a
that.
good combo.
There was people trying to shoehorn like mac and cheese into Thanksgiving like a year ago. It's like, listen, I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. Eat whatever you want on Thanksgiving, but like that's not Thanksgiving food. Like it's definitely not like.
Well, if it's not, then Thanksgiving just keeps getting worse.
John, I would assume
I'm just
with
saying.
Mac and cheese is great.
I would assume with your home life that you understand that Thanksgiving is not the same for all people.
It is, but it's been the same in America traditionally for the turkey at least for
That's
a long
fair.
time.
That's fair. That's fair. What about ham? You guys big?
I like ham.
I love me some ham.
Yeah, ham's
Yeah.
good.
So if you had to take Thanksgiving food,
Yep.
and you break it down by its macros,
Yeah.
like what kind of diet would it be? Would it be a good? Does it fit macros well? Or
No, it doesn't. Not even close.
is it too high on carbs or fats or what?
Both carbs and fats.
Not enough protein.
Not even close.
I
How do you make a macro friendly Thanksgiving meal?
More depressingly, more turkey, a lot more turkey. And possibly deviled eggs, because there's deviled eggs is kind of a Thanksgiving one, right? And so you got a little bit of protein in deviled eggs. So I think they add mayonnaise or something, right? So it's a little fat. So
I wouldn't want to be hanging out.
you
with a
really,
supplement giant with
it's
you after
number one.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, you don't. I don't really eat deviled eggs. My brothers do though. Bumping up protein's number one by far. The other ones are really, it's going to be portion control more than anything else. Like anything that tastes delicious is going to have a lot of extra sugar or a lot of extra fat or something like that. So you can't really make Thanksgiving healthy. It's okay. I mean, if you really wanted to, the way you would do it is you'd eat the mashed potatoes and with no gravy, and you'd just eat turkey and mashed potatoes, and that would pretty much be your meal.
Maybe. Yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah.
No pie, no gravy, no stuffing.
There's bodybuilders
No
that for
rules.
years would go to Thanksgiving and they would have their Tupperware and they would just eat their meal that they were going to eat every single day.
Yeah.
Weren't even dieting. This is just like off-season hardcoreness. And they're like, I'm so hardcore, I can't eat. If I eat something off my diet, I'm not going to hit my results. I'm not going to be the pro that I want to be or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have done that. I'm firmly against that, but there's a lot of people that take their food with them if they're really on it. The only time I think that's reasonable is if you have a bodybuilding show coming up in the very soon future.
Yeah,
right? If it's within 3-4 weeks, then go ahead and take Thanksgiving off.
What about if you're like really like Thanksgiving food,
Mhm.
but you're very insecure about your body?
Yeah.
So does skipping meals help to lose weight or to prepare like before and after? Does that?
Well, that's interesting. So it depends on how you want to look at it,
Uh-huh.
right? In a scientific way of calories in, calories out, it really doesn't matter if you eat one large meal or if you eat 4 or 5 smaller meals, right? So people talk about skipping meals. Most of the time they're talking about skipping meals because it's easy to drop calories, right? And so that's really all you're doing. But if instead of skipping meals you were saving up your calories for one big meal, something like that it is a strategy that you could use. It's not the best strategy necessarily, but I would say it's it's kind of a in the middle. Like you probably shouldn't rely on this, but if you want to do it occasionally, you could skip a meal or, intentionally. It's not skipping a meal like today I'm going to skip lunch because I feel fat. Like that's a different situation. That's a piss poor planning kind of situation. You just didn't plan anything and you're just eating like an asshole. So you're trying to skip a meal, but Thanksgiving's coming up and I'm going to have Thanksgiving lunch at 3:00 or something like that. Right. I don't need to eat anything all day. Like let's just fast until you get to Thanksgiving. And then do you have to eat anything for the rest of the day? Not really. Like if you're still full, I mean, really the only reason I would want to eat anything is because it tastes good.
Maybe a couple Tums.
But that would, even if you're eating 4,000 calories though, like that's not going to be a huge change from your day. Most people are taking 2,000, guys are taking 3,000 calories a day. You're only doubling your intake for one day. But if you ate lunch and Thanksgiving and you had a breakfast and you had a dinner and you ate some more dessert and things like that, like you can easily get up there in that much higher range.
100%. And
so, yeah, skipping meals on a day-to-day basis is a shitty way to diet. Like that's the thing I think people need to understand. It leads to more problems down the road because you're skipping. Like for today, I haven't eaten lunch today. For example, I had a protein shake, and if I don't have anything until I get to dinner, by the time I get to dinner, I'm going to be really hungry. And whenever I'm really hungry, I make bad decisions.
Exactly.
So when you're really hungry and you just go and get whatever's quick, or you open the bag of chips and you're just like, I'm just going to eat a couple because I'm hungry, and then all of a sudden half the bag's gone. Or something like that. So that's why skipping meals is bad. It's not bad metabolically. It's not bad for you if you were to plan it. Like there's a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, right? And that's a 16-hour fast, 8-hour feeding window every day. And so 8 hours, you can fit in 2 to 3 meals for the most part. But when the first meal is still digesting when the second meal comes, and the first meal may even still be digesting when the third meal comes because you have so much food, is it really that different from one meal? Not that different.
What about your body's ability to like absorb that amount of like nutrients within that period of time?
Your body's pretty good at it. Yeah. It'll hold on to the food and digest it slower is really what happens.
So there's not like an overflow valve where like you fill up the bath too much and the water drains out?
Only when you start getting diarrhea.
Gotcha. Is that?
I think so. Yeah. I think when you get diarrhea, you're starting to notice digestion issue and you're starting to have things pass through your intestines too quickly. And a lot of that may not absorb. So,
gotcha.
So maybe diarrhea is great for you whenever you're wanting to lose weight, just kidding. But
I used to do that to cut weight for wrestling. Like 3 days out would just take laxatives and just kind of clean out.
It'll work. It's not a great way to go.
But
people intermittent fast for those periods of time. So if you wanted to use that strategy, it could be used. Now there is a downside, and the major downside of doing this is how much protein you can absorb. So that is the one thing where the protein that you utilize towards building muscle, repairing tissue, things like that, seems to have a rate limit on how much you can use for a period of time. The old school approach was, only 30 grams of protein every 2 to 3 hours or something like that is all your body could absorb. Right. I think things have come a little ways from there. We know it's not a black and white issue. The way you absorb a protein shake is not the same thing as absorbing a steak.
Sure.
Steak takes a lot longer to digest. You can get a lot more out of a steak versus a protein shake, things like that. But that would be one of the major issues I think you would run into with eating one meal a day or skipping meals is that you can't get your adequate protein intake. And when you're trying to get 200 grams of protein a day or something, it takes a lot of work. You got to plan that out.
There's definitely a self-discipline element too. Because like you said, like just flat out, if you're just starving from skipping a meal, you go into the cupboard at midnight, there's like the chocolate bar, the bag of chips, all that stuff.
That's when the devil's on your shoulder. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
You're on your way home from work. You should just grab some McDonald's.
Exactly. You skipped lunch.
Taco Bell. Just grab some McDonald's.
You skipped lunch. You deserve it.
You deserve this.
Exactly.
You'll eat healthy. Just eat a little bit. Just go get one thing.
Yeah.
Just go eat one cookie. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden, you already ate one, so fuck it, I'm gonna eat two.
And you're legitimately hungry because you're
legitimately. The best thing you can do to not binge is to make sure that you're eating your meals before you're hungry. So it's one of the benefits of people that eat 6 meals a day is that by doing so, you're staying ahead of your hunger. And every time you're eating, you're not hungry for it yet.
I don't think people really understand how much like preparation it actually takes to plan your meals and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a lot of work there for sure.
Yeah, like it's kind of nice being like John and I, where we can just wake up in the morning, head to work, and figure it out once we get there.
Yeah,
it's
just lazy bastards. What we call you.
Most preparation I ever had was like some bagels and some cream cheese.
Yeah,
it's a pretty solid option in the morning.
I used to cook all of my meals in the morning for the day.
What time would you get up to do that?
Not that much earlier. No, I'd get in maybe I would give myself an extra 20 minutes to cook my meals. It's really not hard if you think about it. Most of the time, a pound of beef, something like that, you just throw it on the stove. You don't have to do much to a pound of beef. You don't have to cut it up.
Super quick.
So fast. Throw it on the stove, move it around a little bit, brown it, that kind of thing. Throw a couple of cups of rice in the rice cooker, add water, click the button. While it's simmering, go do something else, come back, stir it a little bit, go do something, dress, get back, stir it a little bit, and then it's done. So, or if it was chicken, I'd wake up, I'd cut the chicken into cubes. That's how I prefer to eat my chicken, is cube it, throw it in a pan, throw some seasoning in there, and just kind of pan fry it. And then I would just mix that with the rice.
Shout out to lemon pepper seasoning.
Lemon pepper's pretty good.
Damn right.
Whenever my wife was pregnant, with our first pregnancy, I used this Cajun seasoning. We lived in an apartment.
Sounds delicious.
It was delicious, but
it smelled awful, didn't it?
Yeah, she was literally in bed with cotton swabs full of essential oils on her nose, just breathing in, because every time she smelled it, it made her want to throw up. And she had
Nothing-
horrible morning sickness. So I was like, I'm cooking this like diet food because I'm dieting for a bodybuilding show while she's pregnant. And I was cooking this horrible food, and she's just like sick as can be with like things over her nose. So she
Shout
doesn't smell
out to
my
lavender oil.
yeah, the Cajun seasoning I was using for like all of my meals during that diet. I have not used Cajun seasoning, I think, since then though.
Yeah, you can definitely ruin yourself on some seasonings.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Did she have one of those body pillows?
She had something like that, like a long pillow.
Yeah, like that. My wife. Any of you fellows out there that have not had a child yet and are thinking about it, don't let your wife get the body pillow, because that's 9 months of no loving that you're getting. So
that's fair.
Just tips from the pros. So that also, we're talking about fasting.
Yeah.
A lot of people prefer to work out while fasting or like doing cardio. Is there more benefit to doing that, or?
Well, so there was a long debate, especially like fasted cardio. That was the debate like 10 years ago. Is fasted cardio better for you than, fed cardio?
Right.
And the argument was that you wake up in a fasted state, your body's been burning body fat or dietary fat rather than glycogen, rather than glucose, blood sugar. And it's because of, how your heart rate, whenever it's beating at a slower range, burns fat as energy. When your heart rate moves up to a higher level, it requires a different energy source, and it requires blood sugar, which comes from glycogen and everything that you eat. And so the idea was, if you could kind of hit that maximum level of like using dietary or body fat as an energy source in cardio without introducing anything else, without spiking your insulin levels and turning off fat burning, that you'd get a better fat loss.
Right.
And I did most of my cardio fasted in the mornings. And I would say, generally speaking, all the studies have said that this doesn't matter. Right. And the reason is because if you burn 500 calories first thing in the morning, or you burn 500 calories later in the day, it's still 500 calories for the day. It really doesn't matter that much.
Daylight savings argument.
Yeah. You're just shoving it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. There is one exception. And this is why I will still remain fasted cardio is superior to fed cardio in most situations. There's always an anomaly. There's always people that are too tired to do it or something like that. But in most situations, fasted cardio is better because you can use yohimbine with your fasted cardio. So yohimbine is it's a product that we sell, but before we made it, I was even using it from other companies. They just didn't have it in the dosages or the amount of pills that I wanted to use, because I was using a lot of yohimbine. And yohimbine is an alpha-2 antagonist. Basically turns off these fat cells that are in your body, the alpha receptors in the fat cells. It turns those off, which blocks fat loss from a certain area. So for example, like guys have a lot of alpha receptors around their stomach, around their love handles.
Old tie around the waist.
Yeah, the places that it's really hard for you to lose weight.
Sure.
But the problem is yohimbine is not very effective when insulin is present or when food is present.
True.
And so if you're trying to take something like yohimbine, which allows you to burn fat in those areas that are a little bit more stubborn, well, you can't do it in a time when there's food.
Levels,
you can't have high insulin levels. So there it is, yohimbine. There we go. That's it. So yohimbine, it's one ingredient. There's really nothing crazy in this one. But what it does when you take it is, like I said, it allows you to tap into the fat that's a little bit more stubborn, the fat that has a lot of alpha receptors. So in women, fat that's around their hips and their thighs have a lot of alpha receptors. And when the alpha receptors are turned on, it's a fat loss blocking. They want to hold on to fat in that area and they want to retain it. And so yohimbine's not allowing you to necessarily pinpoint where you're losing fat. You're not saying I'm taking yohimbine and it's coming from my thighs because I'm taking yohimbine. What it is you're taking yohimbine, and because you're taking it, allows it to come from your thighs just as much as it would come from your back or your arms.
Right.
And so it allows a more even burning. I've seen guys, whenever I would put guys on this, whenever I was training them with 3 and 6 fit, I'd put them on it, and within a month, I would see a 1-inch loss on their waist just from adding this in, because that's where guys will not lose weight. So some guys will lean out, their arms get lean, their chest starts to get lean, and they still have a tire around their stomach. And the yohimbine was the only thing that I found that helped them to reduce that tire around their stomach. I used it with all my clients, and that's why I started making it, was because I wanted 120 of these pills. Most of them only had 60.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted 120 at the 3 milligram dose, and people can take multiple pills at one time.
Sure.
So that is the argument for fasted cardio. And I do think that the yohimbine with fasted cardio is a superior combination. And I think for that reason, fasted cardio is better. Fasted workouts are a little different. Your intention with working out is not always fat loss. And so you may have a different preference on that one. It may be a performance base. You want to perform better, and you notice that you perform better later in the day when you work out or something, or when you've had food in your system
I know
or something like that.
dosing and dosages are a little odd with you, but what do you suggest people to start with?
Well,
if they do try it?
there was these studies done by Lyle McDonald, and that's where I learned about yohimbine. It was a very, very smart guy with, I think it was The Stubborn Fat Loss Solution was the book that he wrote. And the Stubborn Fat Loss Solution, he showed that you could use 0.2 milligrams per kilogram as the maximum dose.
To a North American,
it equals out. It equals out to be about 1 milligram per 10 pounds of body weight that you have, which becomes a very hefty dose very fast. So, like if you're 170 pounds, you would be taking 17 milligrams of yohimbine, which at a 3 milligram serving is a lot of pills.
6 pills.
Yeah, you're going to take 6 pills at one time. You can't start with 6. If you start with 6, it'll make you feel nauseous. It'll make you feel nauseated. It'll make you feel cold sweats. It'll make you feel really terrible, like you got the flu.
Sure.
So you start with 1 pill. And so you start with 1, and then you use your own discretion and you bump the dose up. You know, if it makes you feel weird, you don't take it. You know, if you notice it, you don't keep taking it. But as your body gets used to it and gets acclimated to it, you can increase your dosage over time until you hit that maximum of, 0.2 milligrams per kilogram or 1 milligram for 10 pounds. And that's really the highest level of activity that yohimbine can get. Yeah. And it seems to work better the longer you use it too. Yeah. It's really interesting. It's not one of the typical fat burners where it seems like you use it and it stops working, because it's not based off of energy production. Like most fat burners are trying to get you to burn more calories. You're already burning the calories. You're following a diet. You're exercising. All you're trying to do is tap into fat that's just a little bit more stubborn. And so that's what yohimbine does. Just allows you to tap into that fat.
And it's basically, I mean, obviously not like an organic product by any means, but it's like it comes from like, it's just like what, a tree bark is?
Yeah, it's a tree bark. Yeah. So they take yohimbine bark and then they standardize down to the hydrochloride. That's what this is. So yohimbine is not the same as yohimbine, but yohimbine comes from yohimbine. Right. So it's a standardized level of it.
It's been used for other things for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. It's an aphrodisiac.
Absolutely.
So I think I even put that on there somewhere. Did I?
Can you define aphrodisiac?
I should have. It helps you perform in the bedroom.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the best way I could put it.
Nice.
I don't know if it's an increased blood flow issue. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I think that's it.
Side benefits.
Guys will use it for that. So, so if you have trouble there too, you can use some yohimbine. Not a blue pill. It's a little red and white pill.
There you go.
Now, really cool ingredient. This is one of my favorites. It's the cheapest. It's like $17.
Yeah,
so it's like a really cheap product that you can take. But that's one of those that whenever I was training anybody for a bodybuilding show, as long as their body could handle it, and you got to test it, right? As long as their body could handle it, I used it with every single person.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's some people there's like 10% of the population that just can't touch it. Like it just makes them feel sick. So when they take it, they feel awful. They feel cold sweats. They feel the flu. And it doesn't matter what dosage they take.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Do they know why that is? Or
no, I don't. I'm sure somebody could tell you, but I just genetic makeup, I imagine. So
if only we had a DO.
Yeah, DO could tell us.
Yeah, we should try to get a DO on. If there's any DOs listening and you'd like to be on this podcast.
Yeah, we want to know which.
We are wildly ignorant about the factors of osteopathy.
This is one of these early ingredients that I made that I was like, when I was making the company, I was like, this is one of these that I have to make because I can make it a better deal with 120 pills. Because I was having clients go through these 60 pill bottles and they were going through like 1 a week. So they were buying like 4 of these a month. Yeah. And I was like, man, I can cut that price down significantly and you'll only go through like 2 of these a month. And that's much more reasonable. Something like that. That's like $30-something where, the other one was not much cheaper. I think it was, somewhere on like $15 for the 60 count or something, maybe $12. So anyway, that's the history of yohimbine.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was not aware of a product that can help you burn fat more evenly because I know that's an issue that not only men but a lot of women run into as well.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing I did not put it in our fat burners. So like thermogenic flux and thermoflux AF, they have another type that's called Raufia.
Right.
Rauslin is an alpha yohimbine. It's a different kind of yohimbine.
Much more agreeable.
Yeah, it's a little less of a problem causer, and it's very, very strong at very small doses, so we can't use very much. But the reason I didn't put it in thermogenic flux or thermoflux AF is just simply because the dosage you need to use would make most people sick.
Yeah.
So if you want the effective dose, you can't put it in a fat burner, and people have to take it separately and start adding it in. If you do it otherwise, some people are just going to have a miserable reaction.
Wait, can you take it at the same time as a fat burner?
Yeah, like you could do it. Yeah, it's really like for customer returns purposes. Like I could put it in there, but there's going to be people that whenever I give them 12 milligrams of euhembine in a serving, they're going to feel like shit.
Yeah.
And so I don't put it in there.
No
Okay,
matter
yeah.
what.
So, but you can use it separately and then just take them at the same time. And that's why I made them separate bottles.
Very interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I think that covers all of our topics today for the Nut Club.
That's right.
Very nice.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Wow, we're ending early,
It
guys.
seems so fast.
It did.
It
It's my
was
favorite hour of the week.
indeed.
It's too bad Richie isn't here with us.
I know. I miss Richie.
I miss Richie too. Someday Richie will come back.
In the arms of an angel.
Your voice is so good.
I know. I miss Richie and his Bills fandom, but I guess once the Bills started losing, I guess Richie was done.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it with the Bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That's
all
all right.
fun and games till Josh Allen lets you down.
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right though. The Bills, nothing they're not used to.
Yeah. For years
Sorry,
and years.
Richie. I'm sorry, that was low.
It's okay.
If you
Richie.
hear that, I apologize.
We still love you. But thanks for cranking one out with the Nut Club, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for cranking one out of the Nut Club. And don't forget, use code.
Just
Nut-
failed. You just failed, guys. This is how this whole episode went great
gonna
until
have to
Brock
re-edit,
just
yeah.
flubbed it up right
I'm
at the
gonna
very end.
This out.
Just ruined it. Guys, use code NUTCLUB for 20% off your first purchase at Nutri30.com.
Nutri30.com.
Awesome. Thank
That's
you
right.
for cranking one out with us.
That's right.
Have a great week.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.